Hi. All right. So we are now in Genesis 31. So Joseph was born, and Jacob had come to an agreement with Laban regarding the flocks with the speckled and the unspeckled and so on and so forth. And now Jacob is getting ready to leave. So we're going to start with chapter 31 in Genesis. Now Jacob heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what was our father's he has acquired all his wealth. And Jacob saw the countenance of Laban, and indeed was not favorable toward him as before. And the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your family, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flock, and said to them, I see your father's countenance, and it is not favorable toward me. But the God of my father has been with me, and you know that with all my might I have served your father. Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not allow him to hurt me. If he said thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled. And if he said thus, the streaked shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked. So God has taken away the livestock of your fathers and given them to me. And it happened at the time when the flocks conceived that I lifted my eyes and saw a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the fields were streaked, speckled, and gray spotted. Then the angel of God spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift your eyes now and see all the rams which leap on the flocks are streaked, speckled, and gray spotted. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar, and where you made a vow to me. Now arise, get out of this land, and return to the land of your family. Then Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Is there still any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not considered strangers by him? For he has sold us and also completely consumed our money. For all these riches which God has taken from our father are really ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do it. So basically what these girls are saying is they're on Jacob's side. They're saying that, everything that my father had, we were supposed to inherit. That was our money. But he used Jacob. And so, and in the meanwhile, God has blessed Jacob and made him wealthy. So they understand that Jacob's wealth is now their wealth and the wealth of their children. Then, so in verse 17, then Jacob rose and set his sons and wives on camels, and he carried away all his livestock and all his possessions which he had gained, and his acquired livestock which he had gained in Paddan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the household idols which were her father's. That's not good. And Jacob stole away unknown to Laban the Syrian, in that he did not tell him that he intended to flee. So he snuck out, right? He snuck out and she stole the idols. What do you think's going to happen? So he fled with all that he had. He arose and crossed the river and headed toward the mountains of Gilead. And Laban was told on the 3rd day that Jacob had fled. And then he took his brethren with him and pursued him for 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the mountains of Gilead. But God had come to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night and said to him, Be careful what you speak to Jacob, either good or bad. So he's gotten a warning. So Laban overtook Jacob, and now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brethren pitched them out in the mountains of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What have you done? What have you stolen away unknown to me, and carried away my daughters like captives taken with the sword? Which he didn't do, right? Remember they said, we're going to be better off with Jacob. Why did you flee away secretly and steal away from me and not tell me? For I might have sent you away with joy and songs, with timbrel and harp. And you did not allow me to kiss my sons and daughters. Now you have done foolishly in so doing. It is my power to do you harm. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Be careful what you speak to Jacob, neither good nor bad. And now you have surely gone because you greatly long for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? Then Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, perhaps you would take your daughters from me by force. With whomsoever you find your gods, do not let them live. In the presence of our brethren, identify what I have of yours and take it with you. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. And and Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the two maids' tent, and he did not find them. And he went out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household items and put them in the camel's saddle and sat on them. And Laban searched all about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of women is with me. And he searched, but did not find the household idols. So she put him in the saddle on the camel and then sat on him and told her father, I'm in my monthly time. I can't get up. I'm so sorry, Daddy. Well, she's lying, okay? Then Jacob was angry and rebuked Laban, and Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that you have so hotly pursued me? Although you have searched all my things, what part of your household things have you found? Set it there before my brethren and your brethren, that they may judge between us both. This 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats may not have miscarried their young, and I have not eaten the rams of your flock. That which was torn by beasts I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it. You required it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sheep departed from my eyes. Thus I have been in your house 20 years, and I served you 14 for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock. And you have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you last night. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and this flock is my flock. All that you see is mine. But what can I do this day to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have borne? Now therefore come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let us be a witness between you and me. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar, and Jacob said to his brethren, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there on the heap. Laban called it Jegar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between you and me this day. Therefore its name is called Gilead, also Mizpah, because he said, may the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent from one another. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take other wives besides my daughters, although no man is with us, see, God is witness between you and me. Then Laban said to God, here is this heap, and here is this pillar, which I have placed between you and me. And this heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not pass beyond this heap to you, and you will not pass beyond this heap to this pillar, and this pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they ate bread and stayed all night on the mountain. And early in the morning, Laban arose and kissed his sons and daughters and blessed them. And then Laban departed and returned to his place. So, that's the end of chapter 31. And there was a little bit of a falling out, but it kind of looks like they came to an agreement. It may have been maybe a little tense, but they did have some sort of an agreement.